Done. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everybody to my new class, particularly for those who are the student of Kishirganj Government Boys High School of class 9. Okay, in the last class, I told about something about your education and basic knowledge of English. Today, I would like to reiterate something new for you. Just try to listen to me with deep attention so that you can understand my lecture. Okay? Actually, I would like to first of all know what's education. I have already told you. Can you please tell me what's education from you? Okay, if you can't, it doesn't matter. Just I will try my level best to tell you what's education. Education is nothing but one's own brain work to change oneself behaviorally. Okay? So, I think you have understood what's education. Now, come to the next one. What's the purpose of education? I tell you, already I have told you what's the purpose of education. The purpose of education is to outer publish of latent talent. It is appropriate at the sector of all of the world. But in Bangladesh, I always tell you what is the purpose of education. There is another purpose of education, And what is it? It is nothing but after completion of your education, you have to do something about it. And if you are not able to do anything after completion of your education, then you have to face different types of comments from different corners. Something like that. First of all, your parents will tell that we have spent a lot of money behind my son, but he or she can't do anything. That means he is unemployed. He can't do anything. Such kind of comments every now and then you have to listen to. So, it's very bad. I think if you face such kind of commitments or comments from different corners, then I think you will feel boring. So nobody wants to be bored. Everybody wants to do something. That means if you are not able to do anything, then you will be burdened to yourself. You will be burdened for your family, for your society, even for the country. That's why I think after completion of your education, you have to do something. That means you have to get a job around. So whenever you will go to get a job, first of all, you have to take part different types of interview around. So in that interview, any other subject may not be asked you. But how much expert you are in English will be tested around. That's why you have to pay attention properly on your English, because English will help you to go ahead. That's why I am telling you, what is the purpose of education? The purpose of education is to outer publish one's latent talent by changing yourself behaviorally. It is main purpose. But another purpose is, what is it? In Bangladesh, there is another purpose, and it is after completion of your education, you have to do something. That is another purpose of education. Okay? Now come to the real point. What is it? Suppose, how can we have our education? Whenever we go to have our education, then we have to first of all acquire knowledge. Okay? And now come to the point. What is knowledge? That means for education, what we achieve is called knowledge. Okay? What we achieve is called knowledge or acquire. Acquire by reading book, by doing classes, or by reading through any other topics and periodicals or magazines or papers, any other things. By reading these things, we acquire knowledge. Okay? Then what is knowledge? For education, what we achieve is called knowledge. Now come to the real point, that is the difference between knowledge and skill. Okay? What is skill? The ability to use your acquired knowledge in practical situation. I would like to give you an example. Suppose you would like to ride a motorcycle. Ride a motorcycle. So you know you know how to ride a bicycle or motorcycle by reading a book. Suppose you have got a book on how to ride a motorcycle. You have read it. Now you know how to ride a motorcycle. But you didn't touch the motorcycle. Can you ride it? But you know what is the technique, what is handle, what is gear, what is accelerator, and so and so. Those are the things you know. But if you don't touch the motorcycle, how can you learn it? So whenever you will be able to ride it practically, although you have knowledge, that means you know the technique of riding motorcycle, it is knowledge you know, but whenever you will go to use it in practical situation, that means you can ride a motorcycle, then you can call or you can tell that you are skilled. That is, what is the difference between knowledge? For education, what we achieve is called knowledge, and when we will be able to use that knowledge in practical situation, then we can call that it is skill. Something like that. You English. Think about your English. You know English. In this very moment, I am speaking. Yes, stop. I am speaking in this very moment. You are trying to your level best to understand me, and you are understanding me, no doubt. Okay. But if you are told to speak like me or like your teacher, and if you can't, then you are not skilled. So you know, what you know is knowledge, no doubt, because my lecture is clear to you, you can understand me. But if I tell you to give you a personal account, then you can't. Then we cannot call you that you are skilled. So when you will be skilled, when you can speak, that means the knowledge you can use in your practical situation. The English which we use in our practical situation, that means for communication and our daily conversation, then we can call that it is communicative English. Then that means I would like to tell you what is the difference between knowledge and skill. If you think about your English, that what type of subject is English? English is skill oriented. That means what are the skills? You know, the skills are listening, speaking, and reading. And whenever you will go to use these 4 basic skills in practical situation, then you will be called that you are expert in English, not before that. That means the knowledge of English is common to you all. But whenever you will go to or you will told to speak fluently or something else, then if you can't, then you are not skilled. And if you can speak like other person, like the native speaker, then you will call that you are skilled, not before that. Clear the idea? What is the knowledge and what is the skill? Difference between knowledge and skill. That means for education, what we achieve, what we acquire, what we know is called knowledge. But if we are able to use that knowledge in practical situation, then we will be called that we are skilled. That means that is related, that skill is related competency, that is yoggata, competency, yoggata, and qualification is Bengali meaning is also yoggata. That means what is the difference between yoggata, qualification, and competency? Yoggata, qualification means yoggata, competency means yoggata. Competency is related to skill, qualification related to knowledge. Suppose you are having your education in this very moment. After some days, you will pass the ACC, and then ACC, and then BSc or BA, MBBS engineering, and so, and then MSc. In this way, you will achieve your qualification, that is educational qualification. But it does not mean competency. If you are able to acquire knowledge in practical situation, then you will be called that you have competency, not before that. Suppose I know how to swim in the water, in the river, in the pond. It is one kind of competency. I know how to speak fluently like a native speaker. It is one kind of competency. I know how to ride a bicycle. It is one kind of competency. I know how to make a cup of tea. It is one kind of competency. I know how to cook it is another kind of competency. But I have a lot of qualifications, suppose master's degree and honors degree and ACC, SSC, those are also qualifications. But this is the educational qualification. I am qualified, but I am not competency if up to or until I am able to use my acquired knowledge in practical situation. Then is it clear? What is the difference between qualification and competency? Okay. Then now there are some questions I have in my mind. I would like to ask you. Why that you can answer my question. That is what is I have already told you. What is education? Education is nothing but one's own brain work, one's own brain work, and for education, what we achieve by reading many things is called knowledge. And if we are able to use that knowledge in practical situation, then we will be called that we are skilled. And knowledge is related to qualification, and skill is also related to competency. Now tell me, what is the difference between qualification and competency? What is the difference between qualification and competency? I am telling you again. That means qualification means educational qualification which I generally after completion of my education we achieve, we get certificate. But competency, that certificate, that means I have qualification. But what knowledge I have already acquired, I have already achieved, if I am able to use that kind of knowledge in practical situation, then I will be called that I am competent. I have competence. Okay? Suppose in this very moment you are learning English. So if you are able to use it in practical situation for your communication and conversation, then you will be called that you are competent. You are skilled. Not before that. Okay? Is it clear? Yes. Then I think all of you have understood my telling my lecture. Subsequently, I'll ask you some questions. No more now. More while we meet together. Thank you very much.